Alright, YouTube, this is going to be episode 2 for the Rogue One bus conversion. So I've gotten a lot done. I've been kind of a little bit behind on posting videos, and I'm just basically going to walk around the bus and show you kind of what's been going on our other social media. We've been putting some of the pictures and stuff that we've been doing, but I haven't done a video, so I'm going to go ahead and do an update today. Fall's here, by the way. It's cold. Almost. It feels cold because I'm acclimatized to the heat. It was in the upper 30s last night here in Virginia. So windshield has been leaking around the edges of the windshield, so I just sealed that up for the second time. I think some water or maybe some solvent, like I used acetone to wipe it down the first time I did it, and then maybe it would cause it to bubble up because it didn't take. Got some really awesome headlights from Amazon that I upgraded, and they look awesome, and then went ahead and painted the outside portion of the headlight housing, and I think it looks great, as well as upgraded, I don't know if you could see it down here, upgraded to LED turn signals in the front. My original plan was to update the LEDs on the entire bus 100% LED, but I had to end up leaving bulbs in the rear turn signals not so that my turn signal actuator would flash, because there wasn't enough resistance to cause my clicker to flash over. So I left those back there. Fortunately, those aren't they're not part of the running lights. So if you put your parking lights on and stuff like that, they're not going to continue to like illuminate. They're only going to illuminate when I'm using my turn signal, and I have a little indicator that shows what lights on the bus are running, so I would be able to immediately tell if one of them was out. Replaced all of the chassis lights with new housing and LED bulbs. Really excited about that. They're brighter. I chose not to put the guards back on just to have some of the housing from the old ones were cracked, but have a good bit of extras, so I left that. Finished the trim on the side of the bus. Pretty happy about how that turned out. I still have to go through the windows. I've had to seal them like two or three different times, just trying to figure out where leaks were coming from. I think that was the main reason that I had some corrosion in my floorboard. So you gotta really keep a close eye on the windows, and then I have to go back with a razor blade and clean that up. These are the side turn signal indicators. These illuminate with your turn signals, not your chassis lights. Replace those with new housing, so they were really rusty, and LED bulbs as well. Got some nice tire covers off of Amazon to prevent UV damage. These are working great. These are for my 40-inch tires. And back in the back here, it's still ongoing. I removed the air handler scoop that was up top, and now you can see there's just a sheet metal plate that I installed over here to create more room for a loft bed. And I originally had two smaller vents right in here, and my clutch fan was cutting on more so than I thought it should. So I was going to conduct an experiment and basically pop the door off the hinges, run it, and then see if it improved. But the bottom part of the door down here is welded, so it would have been like a real pain to put the door back on. So I went ahead and I cut the door open. I repurposed a piece of the metal from the original scoop housing on the inside to make a scoop here. I'm probably going to adjust this in to like a little sharper angle for the final install, but it did seem to help with the ventilation, providing a little more fresh air to the engine. So I'm happy about that, how that turned out. All new bulbs in the back, except for these guys. I am about to order, or I think I already actually ordered replacement bulbs for these because they're totally rusted in the housing. I have a couple of these that I saved from the sides for the red. They were orange, I mean, and I'm gonna basically repurpose the red in like new housing so it's not as corroded looking, so it looks new. Also changed the housing screws on all of my lights on any exterior fitting that had exposed screws with stainless steel screws to prevent corrosion. These guys were in pretty good shape. The inside of the housing is still in great shape, so I chose not to replace those. I just replaced the bulbs with LEDs. And when my running lights are on, this is illuminated. I think this one comes on when I brake, and then these stay off unless I'm turning. So actually, I think both of these are on, and then they both get brighter when I brake. So still been like, I've had to stop a lot and fix leaks. I'm looking around the bus, and I kind of had to do the same thing here. There's water coming in here. That's what that little arrow and stuff is for. Looking at my list here to make sure I don't forget anything. All right, so, oh yeah, so I replaced the window. I just walked past that. I cracked a window putting in the subfloor, and a neighbor who's also doing a school bus conversion gave me some sheet metal, so I was able to basically use the sheet metal from his roof that he didn't need to put in here. And then on this side, I used, there's 1-inch XPS foam, same as the floor behind there, and then 1/4-inch plywood, and then some members here. It's also glued in. So, and this is all paintable caulk, so should be able to paint that in, no problem. And I screwed in the sheet metal and then ground off the screws, caulked over it, and then I'll paint over that to keep that sturdy in there. Got my radio working on the bus. This was previously not working because it was missing a fuse. Got the fuse working, and the PA also works. So that's pretty cool that I can yell at people in and out of the bus if I want. That's pretty awesome. I had a leaky hatch here, so I'll climb up here and look at the hatch real quick, and I'll show you sort of what I did to fix it. You can see there is that's a piece of kind of how thick sometimes that Henry's Tropicool goes on. So there was 2 pieces that were broken on my hatch right here and here. I used some white vinyl flashing to replace that, and I used pop rivets to go along the edge here to basically just install those, and then I caulked it in. I used the same paintable caulk here, and then I painted over everything on here, as this used to be rusty. It's got a nice thick layer of Henry's Tropicool on this little thing here, so that it no longer leaks. Because over the years, what basically happened was, you can't really tell from the angle here, but water will pool on this surface up here, and it was coming through these rivets and dripping down onto the floor. So that is no longer the case. That is sealed up. I'm actually kind of happy that we had a significant rain before I put the floor down, so that I had a chance to go through and really leak check what was going on the bus prior to, that way I can protect the subfloor. So on my list, so the cluster, I had another video that it's still working, seems to be fixed, so looked like it worked. It works. I also installed a Bluefire Bluetooth reader into the back of the bus. That seems to be doing okay. A little disappointed at first, because as when I got it, at first it's kind of spinny. I mean, I guess for like a reader for a truck, they're more spinny, or a bus in this case, that uses like Juliet 708 protocol, because it's a 2002. It doesn't use the new 1939 one that you can kind of search on online for, etc. But basically, it was like $265 on Amazon, but I really wanted to be able to monitor my temperatures and stuff like that a little bit better. And if my cluster goes out, I mean, we could be looking at thousands of dollars in repairs to be able to, you know, if I overheat the engine or something like that. And it allows me, I just really wanted that capability. So I got it, and then after I got the adapter in the mail, like the hardware was out of date, and I had to flash upload it, or update the software to get it to work with the app that's on my tablet that I'm basically using as a gauge. Problem is, I need a Windows computer, which I don't have. My laptop completely crapped out on me, so I didn't have any way to update it. Fortunately, one of my neighbors let me borrow her laptop, and I was able to actually get in there and update the hardware. But that's, to me, that was kind of a pain. I paid what I consider to be pretty good money. I mean, they're a U.S. company. The owner emailed me back. They seemed really responsive to my inquiries and got it back up and running pretty quick. But I mean, I'd really like it to work when I got it. So I'll give them a pass since it was a small company. And, you know, they're a U.S.-based company. I know they're just probably trying to make their way, and I want to support small business. But got it working, got it updated, and I can see it, all my parameters on there. My fuel sending unit is bad, and that's one of the projects that I'm going to be working on, along with closing up that hatch on the other side. So I'll show you what the Bluefire looks like real quick. I had to go find a screwdriver, but this is my rear little access here, and there it is. So projects for this weekend, I'm going to try to get the other door completely closed up and maybe get it painted so it looks good. Paint this panel over here. Get the inside of the bus, which the bottom part of those panels there are going to be painted gray, painted. Finish sealing that up in the back there. Install the floor and get the electrical system in. And I haven't shown much of anything about the electrical system yet, but I'm super excited about it. I have all my components. I got a really good deal on an inverter from a guy on Craigslist because I traded him a bow that I've never shot. And here's the expanded sheet metal that's going to go in that door. So super excited about doing the electrical. Test run the AC, and since it was a secondhand used one that I picked up, I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and it did, fortunately, but I had to mess around with it and repair the switch. That caused me a delay as well. But you can see I've got this socket mounted in here. I may have to do something weird to get the plate to go on, but I wanted it to be sturdy, so I used those self-tapping screws, and then there's my power going to my air conditioner. And then, believe it or not, when I moved into my house, there was no power in my garage. So this is, I want to say this is maybe 8 or 10 gauge 240, but I used that to go up there in case there's another item of significant load, and just ran it through the existing trim. So when I do the electrical, that's going to be something really, really cool. So I'm super excited about that. And I think that'll do it for this update. So stay tuned for more updates. Like our Facebook page. I'll post some links in the comments to some of the stuff that's in the videos. And then I put a lot of cool updates on our Facebook page about different little things that we're doing, because it doesn't take as much time as uploading a video. So thanks.